Okay, so quick little hub maintenance. They're about 130K since the snow went away, and you'll notice that once he's in a bunch of water, the swing arm on the drum brake will start to seize up, and it'll start to either whine or get stuck and will lock the rear axle. So I'm gonna go through some of the stuff I do just to maintain the back drum brake and the swing arm, and then some other kind of little odds and sods of like pre-season nonsense I do. Okay, so this is the drum brake, swing arm, cable assemblies on top. It's got a little adjusting on the back. It'll start to rust on the inside of the pinion arm. So to take this off, you have to remove the wheel, take off the hub, and then this piece just slides straight out. If you have never taken it off before, it's going to be rusted. So this cup and the outer housing sit in together, and it'll rust along this edge. So when I remove it, I'll usually put grease on the inside. Not a lot so that it sprays onto the brakes, but enough that it'll keep it kind of lubricated. And then we have to lube the inside of this pinion arm because it rusts out really fast. Okay, so there's our housing. Simple enough. This retaining pin comes off, pop that off, this pops off. There's a sleeve, this whole sleeve comes off, and then the housing itself will just slide straight off. Okay, so it's all apart. Hub, washer, nut, sleeve. So basically what I'll do is I'll take a wire brush, I'll clean up the inside. I'll lube up the back springs. And then I'll grease the pinion on the inside. So down here, you can see there's a little actuator that spreads, kind of hard to see. I'll lube that ever so slightly. I'll grease up the spindles and the slider, and I'll put it all back together, making sure it's got a fair bit of anti-seize on it. Then I'll do that to every single side, or these two back sides, and then I'll go over the front real quick. Okay, so just a nice coating of anti-seize on all the splines all the way through, and then the lever, so it still sticks at the top end. It's probably getting to the point where I'm gonna have to replace it, but for his amount of application, it works. You can see as I actuate it, it rotates. So all I do is just throw anti-seize in there, and then I take the drill, run it through, clean up all the excess kind of rust you'll see here. Right, simple. Once I got that cleaned up, we'll clean out the anti-seize on the inside, and then I'll run a bead of anti-seize along this lip. And that's just because it rotates on the inside of this lip. And I'll just do a small amount because I noticed that water, you kind of keep water out, and when it rusts up and stuff like that, it starts to hit. So just to keep it kind of nice and lubricated. Other than that, I'll reassemble the gasket back on there, put everything back. And then I'll just pull that sleeve off, and I'll do the spindles on that side. Just because I'm probably gonna take this guard off from now on. I used to keep it off before, and I put it back on, and now when the chain gets loose, as you can see right now, it's a pain to retighten, so I might just fully remove that. I'll add that into a separate video. So once the washer's on there, you get your nut out of your 6-year-old's pocket, throw that back on, and then you want to grab retaining pin. So I usually have a connection, but now I just buy everything off Amazon because it's taking over the world. So a series of different ones. This one runs, and then once you tighten it up, take it in, bend it out, and then we'll do the other side. I'll do that as a quick fast-paced video. As you can see, that's what the pin looks like when it's put in, bent around. Super easy maintenance. It's just gonna keep everything spinning. We'll do the other side, and then we'll call it quits. Okay, so this one actually wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be. Way simpler. It was still clean on the inside. There wasn't any mud or any buildups. I'm gonna chalk that up to having anti-seize on the inside and keeping the water out. So next thing I'm gonna do real quick is tighten this chain. It's actually really simple. You just have to loosen the housing bolts. We'll do it in a fast video. So you have to loosen the bolts on the top and the bottom under here. And then there's just a tensioner right here. So it's dual nuts on it. Loosen one off, loosen the other one. And as you tighten it up, it'll draw the axle backward or forward. And then you just retighten the bolts on the insides. Giant pain in the butt, that was. This thing was super rusted and it was giving me some trouble. So the bolts are still loosened off. So I just have to tighten these up, oddly enough. This one is size 17, this one's 19 millimeters. So there's 2 up top and then there's 2 on the bottom. This one and the one that the tensioner is attached to. Tensioned it up. I'm gonna grease it and that'll be it. I'll put the tires back on. I inflate the tires to 7 pounds each and we'll get all that sorted out. Okay, so for the fronts, it literally exact same thing. Pull the chain pin, pull the nut, pull the washer, this cope will slide out, clean it out with a wire brush, make sure it's all nice. There's an actuator in there, you can lube that, and then you can see the bead from the old bead that I put on, and then lube the bead, put it back together, and reassemble. That's it. Do that for both sides, just for maintenance. Okay, I'm gonna leave that here. I'm gonna button everything back up. Put all the bolts on, put the wheels on. I talked about the front. Front's really straightforward. If you can do the back, you can do the front. And then that's about it. I'm just making quick videos, help anyone out. I hate opening YouTube videos if I don't know how to do something on a vehicle and then having like a 40-minute video. Those are nuts. So hope this helps. Probably a few trip videos coming up, stuff like that. So I'll stay tuned and I'll see you around.